welcome to the stage.
Hola, hello, namaste. To all the cosmonauts streaming live and who are attending in real. This is Daya.
And I'm Sistla Abhishek. And today we are very excited to be here at Cosmoverse'22 IRL. This is our first ever Cosmos-based event where we had a physical presence, and we are very pumped. I'll tell you why. Because as some of you might already know, in 2021, we were powering the entire event, the media production, the live streams, the broadcasts, and so on and so forth. And it was primarily all remote, thanks to the Flix crew and their efforts for making it a resounding success. Taking inspiration from that, this year, in 2022, we powered the pre-event registration, the tickets, the in-event registration, the AV streams, 6 live broadcasts that were uninterrupted. And
Without getting rug pulled.
and with that, post-event ops as well, where there will be NFT drops for attendees. They can go claim their NFTs on Cosmoverse.omniflix.co, and sponsors have the opportunity to connect with attendees even after the event. So we're very excited, and a huge shout out to Cryptocito, Basil, Fabian, Yuri, and everyone else that made this event happen today the way it is. A huge shout out to the Flix crew as well, who are back at home and here, who made sure to work in the Colombian time zone, being on the other side of the world. So thank you all for supporting us and making sure, we experience the event the way it is today. Now let's OmniFlix and chill.
Well. So let's look into OmniFlix. So you might already know OmniFlix, but let's see what it has been for us, traveling all this while, being here today. So it's been 6 years we've started, and we've been contributing to open source since then, building apps on Ethereum, and then, while doing so, we kind of got, we kind of came across bottlenecks where, while we're doing research, we found Tendermint and Cosmos SDK. So that's then we started, participating in testnets and, various other things within the Cosmos ecosystem, and then moved on to run validators with partners in 2 different capacities. But otherwise, moving to 2020, we started participating in Game of Zones, where we went on to win Best Custom Zone by showcasing the interoperable NFTs in a marketplace where backed by the custom relay between the on-chain broadcast and the ad exchange. Well, so I think Sistla will be talking about more in detail about the testnets and the mainnets and overall.
Yeah, so up until 2020, we made sure to prepare for what OmniFlix is today. 2021 was when we rediscovered ourselves. We were called Free Flix Media back then. We meant free as in freedom. Everyone thought free meant, free beer. And people were thinking that we were a free version of Netflix. You can build Netflixes, YouTubes, the Twitches of the world on top of OmniFlix. But 2021 was when we rebranded ourselves to OmniFlix, and as the name suggests, Omni, making sure we have presence across multiple chains, and Flix, a work of art. 2021 was also the year when we built our first dApp. We were participating in the Agoric testnets as a validator and participated in a challenge where we developed a dApp for staking and governance. In 2021, we went on to launch InSync, our staking and governance interface, for 6 different networks. Most popularly, this was one of the first staking interfaces on Juno, bootstrapped the entire Chihuahua community, on Comdex, and other networks. In 2022, we went on to launch InSync for 11 different networks. And we've seen this being forked by multiple other networks. This was our first dApp with a huge success. Moving on, but we continue to build on and prepare for what OmniFlix is today, the OmniFlix Hub. 2021 was all about testnets. We launched multiple testnets, got participation in, and in 2022, we launched the OmniFlix Hub on 22nd February 2022. 7 days later, on March 1st, 2022, we launched what is the first dApp, OmniFlix Studio, where creators and communities can mint, manage, and distribute their NFTs. So they could create NFTs using no code at all. And we also launched the marketplace right with OmniFlix Studio. So on March 1st, you had both apps, OmniFlix Studio and Marketplace, go live with support for multiple tokens. We had support for 4 tokens up until now: Atom, Osmo, Juno, and Huawei. Each community came together to mint NFTs, participate in collecting NFTs across the OmniFlix hub, as well as participate from multiple communities. Now, we had these 4 dApps on OmniFlix hub. We have worked with, since then, 97 creators. There were multiple collaborations, because of which we have over 100 collections, 106 to be precise, and with over 142K NFTs with 4 supported tokens. Oh, by the way, we also have support for stars, AKT, DVPN, and Axelar-based tokens coming soon. And we did not launch the Flix token. We are well aware of the question, when Flix? Soon is the answer. So, moving on from OmniFlix so far, we have some content stats that Daya will be able to share.
Yeah, well, so we've been able to, do 350 million plus minutes streamed across on YouTube and various other platforms. We kind of manage 8,000 plus assets. At the same time, we got 8 grants during the, our journey from various networks for contributing in our various capacities. Well, we've been able to do 3 testnets, bridging gap between 2 worlds, both Web 2 and Web 3, with a single goal to, for the creators and the communities to do more. Yeah. Well, so what does this mean?
Yeah, sorry.
So what does this mean, and how it all works? I think Sistla will be able to take you through in a deep, deep dive into all of the infrastructure behind OmniFlix.
So let's take a quick look at the NFT infrastructure on OmniFlix. Let's go from the extreme left to right. So here you have what are composed as NFTs. So we have Web 2 media assets and Web 3 media assets that can be composed as NFTs. What else? You have tickets, objects, access passes, 3D assets that can be composed as NFTs. You also have what are AI models, DeFi strategies. IP, a marketing idea, a growth hack, that is also IP. That can be composed as an NFT. How, when, the mechanism can differ, but these can all be assets these are all assets that can be composed as NFTs. Now, what is the first thing that people tend to do with their NFTs? Since 2017-18, we've only seen marketplaces go on to list NFTs, and people could buy or sell, rather collect. But what is possible? We have broken down what are possibilities with NFTs into 2 parts. These are fractionalization of NFTs. We have what are fungible fractions of NFTs, as well as non-fungible fractions of NFTs. Fungible fractionalization is breaking down an NFT into, say, a vintage car exists, and 100 people own 1 token each of the car, and all of them have similar access, shared ownership to the car itself. These tokens, these fungible tokens can be traded across multiple dexes like Osmosis and so on and so forth to be able to better serve their community, right? Because the barrier of entry for a single NFT is too high. Fungible tokens provide an opportunity for people to be a part of the ecosystem even without getting the whole NFT. Then moving on to what are non-fungible fractions. Let's take the example of a music track. I compose a music track. 1 music track, 1,000 copies, 1,000 people editions, right, are minted as NFTs, and all 1,000 holders are part of the community of the creator, right? Instead of selling it for, say, 1,000 atom, you can sell the music track for 1 atom and give, and because it is being sold for only 1 atom, you don't have to give up an entire ownership to the track itself, right? So the community can participate by owning a single edition of the NFT. Then, moving on to derivatives, right? The same music track can be used for club mixes, house mixes, and so on and so forth, where the original metadata or the original asset itself does change. Then, we have what are wrapped assets, where the original metadata stays the same, but you add additional dimensions of metadata. So these are what represent non-fungible fractions of NFTs, right? What else can you do? You can utilize all these assets, non-fungible fractions, original NFTs, and put them into what are pools, NFT pools. Now, most of you might be, or some of you might be familiar with an app, dApp on Ethereum called SudoSwap, where NFT pools are created, and there is an opportunity for collectors to collect NFTs and be able to participate in the ecosystem. More on pools a bit later, but these pools can be used for curation, distribution, monetization, and of course, community participation. Pools, let's say, for example, are like a playlist of assets, right? So you have NFTs from multiple collections that go onto a pool. Now what happens with this pool is that, let's take the example of a pool with assets. You have your Shutterstock and your Getty images, where people take a subscription to license and use the images across multiple dApps. Similarly, within NFT pools, you can utilize these NFTs for maybe commercial or non-commercial utilization. So an example of that might be IRL, in real life galleries or metaverse galleries that can utilize these NFTs from multiple pools. So you don't have to talk to 10 creators, you can just subscribe to a pool. That is the advantage of collective assets and putting these assets into a pool. That is one example. Platforms can use AI models that can be licensed from a pool. Games can use 3D assets that can be licensed from pools. My favorite, publishing platforms. Netflix can just subscribe to 5 pools and then curate all the content that's being published on Netflix. It can be used in live broadcasts, right? And so on and so forth. So there are multiple utilities of NFT pools, and NFT pools are not just limited to individuals, but it is possible for DAOs to run pools. A DAO, a creator DAO, a curator DAO, a community can end up creating multiple NFT pools and then make sure to monetize each of these assets that they're curating and make the most for their curated creators, which is when you have the original creator. So all the way from distributing to a publishing platform, you have the creator that created derivatives, the original creator of the asset, all of them receive revenue share, proportionately distributed, all on chain without any data reconciliation, right? And of course, using the top assets or like most rare assets or scarce assets or most valuable assets, you can collateralize some of them, take a loan, and then maybe stake, and then utilize the yield and share it back to pool owners or pool contributors. So this way, NFT pools and NFTs, the NFT infrastructure on OmniFlix works. And where are we? We are at step 1, where we have the NFTs composed, and we are getting them to be listed on the marketplace in multiple tokens. Again, a point to note, the Flix token is not yet live. Why is this important? It is important because we are able to demonstrate the power of IBC, the power of app chains, the power of sovereign infrastructure. So this technically means that we are not running a sovereign chain on an island in an extremely isolated manner. We are able to connect multiple chains, bring those communities together, and there is no need for them to use only Flix, but they can use their own token. You can't expect,
giving the freedom, right?
Yeah, right? So, yeah, what does that freedom look like? If you are part of the Juno community, you can't expect them to use Osmo to buy their NFTs. You expect them to use Juno to get their NFTs. If you're part of the Huawei community, you can't expect them to get any other tokens. So this way, we are making sure we bring together multiple communities, whether or not they have their infrastructure for NFTs on their chains. So this summarizes the infrastructure of NFTs on OmniFlix. And I'll move on to what are apps in the OmniFlix ecosystem. Over to you.
Well, so after having been run through the infrastructure, I believe you might have doubts like how far did we come till here with the marketplace and all. So starting from 2018, we've been focused on Studio, which kind of lets you mint, manage, and distribute the content. But how do you monetize them? So there comes the marketplace, where you could license, sell, and do a lot of monetization activities using your NFTs. Then comes what how do you promote, how do you, take it to the next level? So we built TV where you could, promote yourself, your collections, and, do a lot of activity that makes sure you kind of, are taking NFTs to wider audience. Moving on, we realized that, there is a lot of potential for creators and communities to come together in sync using the tool where they could run their staking, staking governance and, things like these to do more. So, well, moving on, we are currently working on these apps that are going to release in the near future. OmniFlix Me, a social media kind of social profile or social media kind of thing where you can follow or do a lot of things between creators and users. Moving on, now we have Nucleus, which is our distribution platform which is open source. You could customize your mobile app, web, and things like these, and take a step forward to enable your own creators with your customized app. After which we thought definitely there is a lot of potential while doing all of these apps. We realized that there is a lot of financial activity that goes in between creators and consumers. So we built StreamPay to demonstrate programmable payments between creators, communities, and a lot of use cases that might come later. So well, I think that sums up the apps scenario or the apps ecosystem on OmniFlix. I'll let Sistla take on and let you see how and what other things we're doing with partners and things like these.
By the way, we bootstrapped OmniFlix by running our validator operations. So we are a validator first and then a network later. So this is the power of the Cosmos ecosystem where you can get involved. You can get involved in multiple aspects. We are doing whatever we can do. We did contribute to the Cosmos core base at other capacities, but not as OmniFlix. But we are running validators on 13 different networks. We work with studios, record labels, game development companies that are forking our chain to be able to build their own internal infrastructure. We have multiple dApps that are running on OmniFlix, and of course, dApps on other 6 ecosystems with apps like InSync. Moving on, I'll let Daya take over and explain the future of OmniFlix when it comes to licensing and IP management.
So, well, having been worked in media for almost a decade myself and Sistla, we've kind of, digitized a lot of content from, its physical stage to digitization at the same time distribution. We've seen a lot of problems, right? So we work with media houses for almost a decade where we kind of distribute it to Netflix, Apple, Amazon Prime, and, you tell us, we kind of put content everywhere. But the thing is, creators don't get the whole revenue as much as the distributor gets. So we realized that this is not fair, and this is not the way moving forward. Then that's when we kind of quit, because our major focus was enabling creators with more tools to let them do more. By how? Enabling through licensing and various other ways. So let's look at licensing. So what we're doing is we're enabling permissionless Web3 infrastructure for IP management. Along with, for the buy button, we're building infra for the licensing button. What does that mean? Like Bitcoin solved double spending problem for store of value, we're solving double spending problem for IP management. So as you are all aware of how it works, like, you might be doubting, you might have questions like what and how it might work. So it works the way, you got to stake your assets, and, probably you kind of use extensibility and transferability, which are kind of available right now on OmniFlix. These were, planned way ahead. Like, we had these minds since 2016 and, 15, because our core was like, to enable more. So these two, extensibility and transferability in combination, will give you a lot of scope to issue both exclusive and non-exclusive, licenses for the assets. So what does this mean? Like Sistla said, right? We have pools and things like this. When you fractionalize rights and make sure you use them in different pools or different ways to take it forward, thereby enabling additional monetization that flows back. At the same time gives splits and royalties. Likewise, as you do the settings.
Yeah. So moving on, right? That was future of IP management on OmniFlix. Now, what is the future of social coordination on OmniFlix? These are the pools that we talked about earlier. We're looking at pools to be able to utilize them or utilize pools for curation, distribution, repurposing, licensing, and sub-licensing, right? And yeah, pools can be used for collecting NFTs, collaboration in distribution, collaborative licensing, and a lot more. creator guilds and DAOs will be able to utilize pools and create, curate, collaborate effectively. We are working on what is the infrastructure, not for user-generated content, which is a Web 2 model, where the platforms benefited. We are working on what is community-generated content, which we believe is the future of social coordination when it comes to creation. That's the first step. Social coordination in terms of distribution is powered by pools, and of course, social coordination in terms of monetization is powered by the blockchain itself, where you do not have to, reconcile data, attribute revenue, and so on and so forth. All of this is done permissionlessly on the blockchain. Right? So this is the future of OmniFlix, the OmniFlix hub, and in terms of both IP management and NFT pools. I know we are almost running out of time, but we have a few announcements to make. Precisely 10 announcements to make. Right? So the first one being, we will have auctions go live on OmniFlix in October. We have had creators try this out on the FlixNet 4. Thank you. Thank you. So we have had creators try this out on OmniFlix FlixNet 4, and we've received an immense, of course, feedback as well as a great response. Creators love the ease of access, ease of making sure auctions are configured and the way they go live. Moving on, we have what is an interact to claim module. So there are two types of interactions, but let me talk about one. You can burn an NFT to claim a fungible token. What is the first fungible token that will be claimed? It will be the Flix token. So you can, thank you. You can burn what are your OG collector NFTs. You can burn what are your FlixDrop NFTs. And you can burn a lot more NFTs to be able to claim fungible tokens. Eventually, we'll have multiple combinations where if the first is an NFT to FT combination, you'll have what are NFT to NFT combinations where you can swap an NFT for another NFT in the pool, and so on and so forth. These are very important these are very important, I'll say, features for the blockchain itself to be able to facilitate the creators and their communities to be able to interact and engage in better ways. Moving on. CosmWasm is coming soon to OmniFlix. We have made sure, thank you. We've been observing and very closely following the development of CosmWasm right since day one. And we've started working on our contracts. And the first contract that we have worked on, at least on the DevNet, is the Flix name service, where you will have the name service on the OmniFlix blockchain itself. We see a lot of possibilities for that to happen, and for creators that might, for communities that might not want to deploy a name service on their chain, they can definitely utilize this. Of course, we'll be interoperable with other networks like Stargaze that will also launch NFTs, name services, and so on and so forth, and be interoperable with them. That's 3. Moving on to 4. We have what is StreamPay for programmable payments. So StreamPay, like in one sentence, works like this. I can stream a set of tokens, fungible tokens, to any account, block by block, right? What does that mean? The power is in being able to have, curves, an incline curve or a decline curve, to be able to increase the total number of tokens streamed per block to reward loyalty. Or if I want to get work done faster by a freelancer, I can use a decline curve where I reduce the total number of tokens being streamed block by block. So this way, it facilitates a lot of trustless interactions in a live streaming context. So if I am a creator, celebrity, right, and if there are audience that are watching, they can keep streaming tokens to me, my account. If I am being sponsored by, say, Coke, Coke can stream back tokens to our audience. So this way, StreamPay is a very integral part when it comes to infrastructure for programmable payments on OmniFlix. Of course, other chains, other tokens can utilize this infrastructure, not only in the context of, say, streaming content, but also in other ways that they see fit. That's 4. Moving on to 5. There has been a snapshot, the 4th snapshot for the FlixDrop, which was taken on September 1st, right? So people have been waiting for the FlixDrop for quite a while. We received, when FlixDrop, when Flix token, and so on and so forth. But to be able to incentivize the people that trusted us, that supported us, that delegated with us, we made sure to get the 4th snapshot in place. But this time, it wasn't mentioned in advance or announced in advance. We made sure to take the snapshot first and then later announce.
we'll be taking, 4 snapshots to avoid spammers or airdrop chasers, because it's like this, right? People just take and, probably when they get dropped, they'll like unstake and move away. So we took time, unfortunately or unfortunately, because of bad markets and various Flix didn't go public, but otherwise, I think, honestly, we'll have a great set that who stuck to us since inception. I believe there are a lot of cosmonauts who believe in us, and yep, that's what we're looking at.
Yeah, so one quick point, without the Flix token, we've been able to bootstrap a lot on OmniFlix, right? This proves that we are tailor-made for adoption. We are focused on the problem of adoption. We are not using cool tech, like blockchain tech, Web3 tech, to be able to, just for the sake of using that tech, we are utilizing that to solve a problem, to empower creators and our communities. And we proved that by working on multiple dApps with the fee grant module. So my account can pay fees or gas of your account. And what happens there is we were able to bootstrap all operations without the Flix token being present in a single account. Hey, not only NFT minting and collection, but we also made sure to relay packets. So all of our relayers use the fee grant module. So there's no Flix token, but IBC runs pretty seamless on OmniFlix, thanks to multiple supporters like Strangelove, multiple supporters like Notional, Crypto Crew validators, and everyone that has made this possible. Thank you to everyone. Again, that's number 5. Moving on to number 6. In October, OmniFlix will go permissionless. Up until now, we were making sure we give the fee grant access to creators that qualified some of our requirements, passed our benchmark tests and so on and so forth, and we made sure to optimize for quality. But in the month of October, we'll go permissionless. Any community, any creator will be able to mint a collection and their NFTs on OmniFlix. Thank you. Number 7. We will be working with Axelar to be able to power their academy. So maybe an academy.axelar network, a learn.axelar network will be powered by OmniFlix to be able to publish their content. This demonstrates sovereign publishing for communities. So every community here, every blockchain network here has more than technical development, has a responsibility towards educating their communities. For that, we believe media is essential, and it is important for the community themselves to have control on their publishing. So when we talked about community-generated content, we were serious. What does that mean? So within these publishing platforms, people will be able to contribute content, contribute information, contribute resources, and then get published, get, of course, recognition, and even more so than that, get grants and paid for their work. So we are first working with Axelar, and we aim to work with multiple other communities to be able to power their sovereign publishing infrastructure for their educational or marketing content. Number 8.
This is big alpha, I believe.
Right, so we are working on what is the Interchain Media DAO. Okay, quick context. Yes, developers are important. Developers need to have their own groups. Yes, developers need to coordinate. Yes. What about the non-technical folks? I don't code myself. So we are building a DAO for community managers, business development folks, and people that evangelize a network. Bringing them together, we believe the Interchain ecosystem will not only benefit from accurate information that distributes, but also they get to learn from each other. And this is very important because, yes, as some of you or all of you might know, Cosmos is extremely underrated. Why is it underrated? Aren't we able to build? Do we not have the tech? Isn't Ethereum moving to POS? But. It is in the packaging and presenting, thanks to multiple people like Cryptocito, Friends Validator, Confident in Crypto, of course, Crypto Rich, and so many others that are on Twitter, making sure information is spread very well. We believe there needs to be additional coordination, and we're doing this on a credibly neutral blockchain like Juno, where the Interchain Media DAO will exist, and as well bring on board other people like, as you can see, Friends Validator, Cryptocito, of course, OmniFlix, and so many others. We haven't yet completed our conversations with the others, like Confident in Crypto or Liam, and others. So we did not have their names in place, but we have verbal agreements with them. So yeah, this has been extremely interesting for us. This has been an idea that we've been thinking of for a long time. Of course, we could do it on OmniFlix, but we want to do it on Juno. This is number 8. Moving on. We have a creator partnership that we'd like to announce. So, Chetan, it'll be great if you can play the video.
Hi, I'm Songs of Eden, a music producer, pianist and songwriter based in Stockholm, Sweden. I've been in the music industry for over 20 years and been charting with my songs all over the world. I believe the most important thing to be successful in the music business is curiosity and always be ready to pivot and try new things. And that is what led me into NFTs, and NFTs led me into OmniFlix. I'm super happy to have met this team, and I totally believe they will be a part of the future. Very soon, we will be releasing our very first NFT together, and it will be called the Omni Owl. I came up with a very unique way to create PFPs with my piano, and I believe I'm the first in the world to create those, to be honest. So I hope that you join the family and grab your edition right now. Peace and much love.
We know music NFTs exist, but NFTs can also be created with music data. So, it has been an immense pleasure working with Songs of Eden to be able to conceptualize this, and it was all him, not us. We're just providing the infrastructure. We are not creative guys. We are tech guys. So we're making sure creators can take advantage of all of this infrastructure and do what they do best, that is create. Of course, with this, we come to our final announcement, and today we are, okay. So, for people that have attended the Flix Fest, so how many of you attended the Flix Fest yesterday? Woo! Thank you all for making it a resounding success. We were very happy to be able to have coordinated this from the other side of the world. It is thanks to efforts of our very dear community member, Tardigrade's founder, Eli. We have what are Nation Crypto, I hope I pronounced it right, but they have been very instrumental in putting the Flix Fest together, right? A huge round of
Alex and Juan, so yes. They kind of building in a community in Colombia, content made in Espanol to educate people on crypto and various other things. So huge shout out to them.
Yep. So without them, it would have been impossible for us to be able to coordinate this and put this together from the other side of the world, right? Okay. Some of you might already be aware of the announcement, but today we are extremely proud to announce that we are working with a 3-time Major League Baseball champion to support a social cause. That's the one final shill. So we are working with Curt Schilling from the Boston Red Sox team to drop NFTs in the ALS cause. The campaign.
Hey folks, 3-time World Series champion Curt Schilling here. I am entering the world of NFTs, dipping my toe in the water, and I'm doing it with OmniFlix. I'm doing it to raise money for ALS. We have a special, very unique NFT coming out, and I'm using these guys to do it, and hopefully it's going to be a collaboration and a partnership that goes well into the future. But stay tuned for the upcoming NFT from Curt Schilling, which will feature a little baseball to it, some Bloody Socks, some Lou Gehrig, and ALS awareness. So anyway, to my new friends at OmniFlix, good luck with everything tonight. Hope you guys have a successful launch, and looking forward to many, many successful years together.
Woo! We are very happy because we are not dropping NFTs for the sake of dropping NFTs. but we are doing that to be able to support a social cause. We'll see how this turns out, but we believe this will be a major step in increasing adoption to the Cosmos ecosystem. Why? Because people that might never have heard of NFTs or the Cosmos ecosystem or even Web3 will end up interacting with this campaign. And eventually, if they get involved, yeah, that's a +1 for Cosmos. So these are our 10 announcements. We are extremely excited to be here in real life at Cosmoverse'22.
And it's surreal.
Yeah, it has been a surreal experience. And again, a huge shout out to Cryptocito, Basil, Yuri, and Fabian for putting it together.
Woohoo!
Thank you all.
Before we let them go, I just wanted to come up. How can you not love these guys? Come on, let's give it up for them.
Love you all.
Thank you.
That was probably the most passionate presentation in crypto history. I just wanted to say thank you for the OmniFlix team for the past year. Like, Cosmoverse would not be the same without them. Like Sistla said in the beginning, the ticketing platform, the live stream, the broadcast, all the visuals, everything that you see, the animations in the live stream, they did that. So they're not just partners, they're like part of the team. Yeah. And I just wanted to say thank you for that. And yeah, I think, honestly, they're one of the most underrated teams in Cosmos. Yeah. I know the Flix token is not live yet. Everybody wants to trade it, chill it, speculate. But after all, it's all about the people, it's all about the technology, and you guys are killing it. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Cryptocito.
It does mean a lot.
Much love. These guys trusted us to what we do, and even when we were remote, even when we were not here in person, last year was all virtual.
We were FOMO'd and we are here today.
This year, wherever Cosmoverse would be, we would have come down.
Even on Mars.
Yeah, like also with the time zones, like they just take calls at 3 a.m. in the morning. Like I don't know if they ever sleep, but anyways, do you still have 10 more announcements, or was that it?
We're good. We're good.
So
next year at
we
Cosmoverse
apologize
2023.
you for taking 2 hours of our time. It feels like, but yeah, I hope you have a good time here. Welcome to Colombia.
Yep.
And yeah, I think we can go on with the next presentation.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you all.
Thank you all.